On show 523, the Mini Cooper SE is revealed. No refresh for S and X Teslas, and my plug-in hybrids could be the answer. Well, those stories and many more coming up on today's show. So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Look, wherever you're listening around the world, welcome to the show. This is EV News Daily. If this is the first time you're listening, it's good to have you tuned in. Wednesday, 10th of July edition today. We do it every day. My name is Martyn Lee. I go through every EV story that I can find, every tweet, Facebook update, Instagram post or blog update, and I try and filter it down to just the 15-20 minutes that you need to know, because you are crazy busy. I know that because I am. I know you are, and we try and save you time. Thank you as always to the team at myev.com. If you are new, you won't have heard me talk about them before. myev.com is the one and only place that I would go to online to find, if you want to buy, sell, learn about used EVs in the USA. So the Mini Cooper was the big car being talked about today. I think it was 12:30 UK time, because literally my Twitter timeline all of a sudden just filled up with Mini Cooper electric stories. It's called an embargo in the media industry, and largely people respect embargoes. Good journalists, at least, know that it's worth working with car makers, or with anybody actually, whether I come from the music industry is my history. And so if you work with people, you tend to get more access. It's better for relationships. Some people break embargoes for a scoop or for extra clicks, but I never thought it was worth it, to be honest with you. It might not have the same impact as the original Mini all those years ago, but the Mini Electric is an important model, says Motor1.com. It allows the BMW-owned brand to enter the electric era. Small asterisk here. They, of course, did enter the electric era with a previous Mini Electric. We'll get onto that in a moment. Today, the company labelled it the first purely electric-powered premium small car. So maybe the parent company, BMW, is forgetting about the BMW i3, or maybe they don't count it as a pure electrically powered premium small car. I would. It combines just about everything that we like about the Mini, and it adds a lovely zero-emissions powertrain into the mix as well. Now, according to Motor1.com, at the heart of the Mini Cooper SE, the electric motor. Well, the electric motor has been put under the bonnet, where you would normally put the engine. 135 kilowatts or 181 horsepower in that, and it's channeled to the front wheels. Bit of a go-kart feel like this. Improved driving dynamics, says Mini today, with some slip limiting because of all the torque that the motor has got. Mini Cooper goes 0 to 60 Ks, that's 37 miles an hour, in under 4 seconds, and 7.3 seconds, 0 to 62 miles an hour. Now, interestingly, Mini says the all-electric hatchback can keep up the pace effortlessly with ICE-powered sports cars over the first 200 feet or 60 metres. Flat out, though, it won't be breaking any speed records. This is electronically limited to 93 miles an hour, that's 150 Ks. Now, let's talk tech. Under the floor is a 32.6 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack. Now, BMW with the i3 always give their battery pack sizes in amp hours. And so I wondered, being owned by BMW, would we get that? Because the industry doesn't. The industry does kilowatt hours. But no, Mini have gone with giving us the kilowatt-hour size. 32.6 kilowatt-hour pack. That gives between, they say, this is the official press release I'm reading from now that I was sent today, 146 to 168 miles. Let me explain. So 146 to 168 miles from this battery pack, 235 to 270 Ks. Now, Mini point out that the range has been calculated, this is their quote, calculated based on the new WLTP test cycle and adapted to NEDC for comparison purposes. I don't know what that means. I've read it many times. I can't decipher it. I'm probably just having a bit of a brain fart on that, or just like a mental block. Anyway, if all of this spec sounds familiar to BMW i3 owners, it's because this is the BMW i3 tech. When they put this Mini together, decision made very early on to take the existing technology that's in the BMW i3 and put it into this Mini Cooper SE. So this is the current BMW i3s that are running around and have been running around the world for a very long time now, simply under the skin of a Mini Cooper. Is that disappointing? Well, for me it is. Personally, I'm disappointed. I'm let down by that. This is a 2020 car. It'll be on sale in the USA and around the world in 2020. And that BMW i3 tech now, although it's still great, is not the latest that BMW are working on. They do have the latest generation of tech, of EV technology, of motors and batteries, and those will be in the forthcoming iX3, BMW i4, the next generation BMW badged cars, but they didn't want, I'm guessing, again, I've had no tip-off from the company here, I'm guessing they didn't want the Mini, which is not, a BMW badge, being first with the new technology that's due in 2020. They want that under a BMW badge. I'm disappointed, but at least the technology is tried and true, if I'm trying to be diplomatic about this, or even just fair to the thing. Like, the tech under the skin here has been used for many, many years. They've got the gremlins nailed out of it, so you know that you're getting something that's going to work pretty well. According to Automotive News, the electric hatch is estimated to have an EPA-certified range of 114 miles. Now, EPA range, personally, is the one that I like to go with, even though I'm in Europe, where we have WLTP. I still find it's a little too optimistic, and so I like the EPA range. I think that's about as close as you get to real world. But I've not seen that this is the official EPA range. This is what Automotive News says it will be. 114, it's a low number. Now, to entice buyers, Mini are throwing in some standard goodies, LED headlights, some two-tone air conditioning on HVAC, 6.5-inch infotainment, nav on there as well. Auxiliary heating. You can spec it up, though, for an additional cost, 8.8-inch touchscreen. You get some leather upholstery, choice of 4 exterior and interior packages, and wheel designs, seat upholsteries, cabin trims. We love the Mini. I love the Mini. I used to drive a Mini. Now, what era did I own a Mini? Didn't own it. I used to drive one. It was a company car. 2008. I think it was an 08 plate, I think. And mine wasn't the top spec, but it was one of the, I think it was a coupe. It was pretty rapid. And I loved it. It was a much bigger car than I thought it was. And even then, the Mini these days is anything but Mini in size. Really great car. I love the design inside the Minis. I think they've got the aesthetic inside with that big round display and the switch gear. Very, very tactile. Big kind of up-down switches. Very old school, but retro. I like the styling of the Mini. And if you buy one of these, I think you're buying it partly because you like that. In many ways, a comparison to the Honda E, another car that was released or revealed a few days ago, and again, really big on style, and where it's lacking is perhaps in the tech specs, although Honda would respectfully disagree with me on this after spending many, many years of their finest brains working on it. From Inside EVs, we get an insight into how the new Mini Electric is going to do the technology side of it. The batteries are packed in a T structure. 12 modules placed between the front seats and under the rear seats. That's where the gas tank would be in the Mini combustion version. If you remember the Mini E, well, that was the first electric Mini. They only offered it for leasing, didn't make many of them, only had 2 seats, and when those leases were up, they took the cars back, and they are somewhere or no more, I don't know, but they're no longer around. The battery pack, by the way, in the Cooper SE sits 18mm higher than the regular Mini does with a combustion engine. That's the only difference to the dimensions, though. The 3-door hatchback is big on style. It looks great, even though it's 18mm higher, and I think it looks great. So I'll pop links in the show notes to the articles that I found today. If you check out my Twitter, too, I'm at EV News Daily. I posted a bunch of videos from everyone that was allowed to go and film with it and then sit on that until the embargo was lifted today. I got a thread on the videos and a thread on articles if you want to read. And it made everything from tech blogs to motor blogs to national newspapers. Loads of excitement and interest around this car. It charges at 50 kilowatts as well, I should add, which again, we're using BMW i3 technology. 50 kilowatts is not the end of the world. If you're not doing majorly long journeys, look, it's twice as fast as my car charges, on the Renault Zoe. I do understand the arguments I've seen online today. Now, let me preface this by saying, in my timeline on Twitter are a lot of Tesla people. I do follow, probably disproportionately, Tesla owners, Tesla reviewers, Tesla video makers, Tesla podcasters. So this may be unfair, but the general reaction in my timeline, and not just from Tesla owners, the general reaction in my timeline today on social media, where people are not, let's say, the kindest if they don't agree with things, was pretty negative. I saw some negative comments about the range, about the technology, about charging too slowly. And I do understand that because, and here is the kicker, and I've saved the best till last, the price. It's not going to be a cheap car. It's in the 30,000s. Now, in the UK, with the government money, the free grant that we get, it'll be late 20-something thousands. But in terms of euros, pounds, dollars, it's in, depending on how you spec it, it's in the 30,000s. In fact, the spec that you would really want is only a couple of thousand short of the Tesla Model 3 Standard Range Plus. Now in the US, this is different, of course, because BMW still get that $7,500 tax credit off next year's tax bill. You have to pay for the car, but of course you get the money back. And Tesla is now tapering on because they've hit 200,000 cars. So there's some to factor in there, but I did see a lot of people comparing the two today because even though they're very different cars, the Mini, the Honda E, the Vauxhall/Opel Corsa E, the Peugeot E208, the Model 3, they all start to get lumped together in comparisons, and you've got to be careful because starting at the very bottom, you could argue the new Renault Zoe is at the bottom of those. Starting at the very bottom and working your way up through specs and prices from 20-something thousand to 40-something thousand, the Zoe, the Vauxhall Corsa E, the Peugeot E208, the Honda E, the Mini now, Tesla Model 3, you start to go up. And although the price is going up through there, when you get to the end of that, you go, actually, you can't compare some of those cars. You know, at the bottom, you mentioned the Zoe in the same sentence as the Tesla Model 3, which you can spec up to, I don't know, what's the top spec you can do on a Model 3? So, in this country, 50,000 plus, right? So that's a little unfair. It's kind of inevitable that people are going to do those comparisons, but have a look for yourself, make your own comparisons, and make your own mind up. It's, many things going for it, and that's why I do compare it to the Honda E. I think it's a very, very stylish car that's great for cities, great for urban living, and will be popular around the world, and will be sold around the world as well, made here in the UK, somewhere called Oxford. Okay, moving on. Elon tweeted a reply to someone who asked him a direct question about the so-called refresh of the Model X and the Model S, and he simply said, no, there is no refreshed Model X and S coming, only a series of minor ongoing changes. Most significant change in the past few years was to use high-efficiency Model 3 rear drive unit as S and X front drive unit. That went into production 3 months ago, at the end of his quote. Simon at Teslarati adds to Elon's tweet and says that his recent updates on Twitter stand in contrast to the rumours going around that have emerged over the last month. In early June, speculation from a reported Tesla insider suggested the company was preparing a refreshed Model S with 3 electric motors and 400 miles per charge. Those rumours were reported by the YouTube channel Kim on her Like Tesla channel, and she said she had inside knowledge on that, further suggesting that the revamped Model S and X are undergoing extreme weather testing at the moment in the Mojave Desert and Death Valley. Other people have reported on this. CNBC have reported on this, saying that the cars are not far away from being released, even electric, which you would argue is certainly pro-EV and in many cases pro-Tesla. Even they, for a year, have been saying that they've been getting tip-offs from inside the company saying the refresh is coming, to the point that I now see in the comments of Electrek, people, the person that writes many of those articles, a chap called Fred, I see people laying into him and saying, look, people aren't buying the S and the X because you keep writing articles claiming that you have inside knowledge of a big refresh coming, a facelift, a whole new look, a whole new design, when the CEO himself publicly on Twitter, and we know that he is being very careful with what he says on Twitter, he can't just lie, for instance. A lot of the people go, well, Elon is just saying that because it would kill demand, and next week there will be a new car. And so one of the things that he can't do is kind of lie on his Twitter. Well, what are you going to go with? So either the media reports or the CEO, I don't know. But there's that story today that I'll pop a link in the show notes if you want to read more to Teslarati. Staying with Tesla though, and The Verge today, they do report on Elon's tweet about Tesla most likely retrofitting its new, more powerful computer chips into older vehicles near the end of the year. The new full self-driving chip is the first to have the in-house design, says The Verge. Well, Tesla offers this new in-house designed chip, which they've done from the ground up. They reckon it's 21 times more powerful than the NVIDIA chips they're replacing. NVIDIA dispute that claim, by the way. The new chip has been shipping in the S, the X, and the 3 more recent times, but soon it will be offered as an upgrade to 500,000 Tesla owners. Well, the full self-driving chip upgrade is going to be offered for free to any Tesla owner who has paid for the full self-driving package as an add-on. That at the time cost varying amounts. I think it's like $6,000 at the moment. It's 5,000 odd pounds here in the UK if you buy a Model 3 and you want full self-driving on top of autopilot. Elon estimates around 500,000 cars are compatible with the new chip. Not all of them will have paid for that package, though, to get the upgrade for free. So we're waiting for pricing on that. Toyota are making some headway with solar panels on cars. Much like, well, there's a few people doing this more recently. We heard of the Lightyear 1 actually with their solar panels on cars. Toyota have been certainly in the lab doing their R&D on this, and they're exploring the idea of solar-powered cars. They recently announced that they are ready to begin testing of their most advanced solar system to date, according to Digital Trends. They've been partnering with Sharp, and they've succeeded in making some higher efficiency solar cells to put on their Toyota Prius, the plug-in version. Road trials begin later this month to assess the effectiveness of those solar panels and the enhancements, they say, in the solar cell generation of electricity means that if you park it in direct sunlight for a day, Toyota estimate 27 miles of range, 7 times better than they've ever had before on a car, which is brilliant. 27 miles of range if your car is parked in the sunshine. If you're listening to me in a sunny climate, well, that's just brilliant. I mean, you wouldn't say no to that, right? Many people's commute isn't even 27 miles of range, so you are driving for free. Trials by Ford involving construction firms in the UK and their suppliers have concluded that the hybrid electric vans they were testing present a practical, accessible solution for clean air, says Construction Index website today. Now, why is that? Well, it's because the trial, which has just concluded, found that 75% of the mileage, not the time, but the mileage, 3/4 of the mileage done in central London was completed on pure electric power. The results highlight that even without fully established EV charging networks around, even without people driving full electric vans, the hybrid vans are dramatically reducing tailpipe emissions in the inner cities, using the flexibility of a petrol range extender to do longer journeys when it's required, but 75% of the journeys of the mileage, I should add, being done pure electric power alone. That's a brilliant piece of research and great news. I'll pop a link in the show notes if you want to read more. Right, 2 more stories. As of last month, actually no, it was May. As of May this year, there were more than 68,800 DC fast charging units and level 2 chargers throughout the United States. Of that, 16%, or about 11,000 units, were DC fast chargers, says Green Car Congress. Well, California has the most EV charging units of any state, 22,000. That's a third. That's almost a third of all chargers in the entire country are in one state. Yes, if you're in California, you are not living a normal life by EV standards. You may see lots of EVs and you can charge them everywhere. It's not like that for the rest of us, trust me. There are 18 other states, though, that have more than 1,000 level 2 and DC fast charging units combined, and that continues to grow. Final story today, and we're talking trucks. We're talking Ford F-150, and there's a new video that I found on YouTube today of a Ford F-150 travelling silently. Could this be pure electric, or could it be a hybrid that happened to be travelling at the time on its batteries? We'll never know. It was a test mule, because it was covered in that test camouflage. The F-150, suspected to be all electric. It had a big fake exhaust pipe, of course. It could be a plug-in hybrid, though. Discussed by the Fast Lane Truck website, YouTube channel, and reported by Inside EV. Spy photos obtained reveal independent rear suspension. From the side profile, it looks like the battery packs you can see. And TfL Now's video contains a short clip of the prototype driving through an intersection in complete silence. It is proof that someone is making a Ford F-150 with an electric powertrain. Is it Ford, or is it someone using that as a test mule for their electric technology? Again, I've got more questions than answers on this. Sorry about this. Money could be on Rivian. Of course, Rivian are developing their R1T truck and the R1S, the SUV. But if they take the R1T out onto the streets, it'd be game over because everyone would take a picture of it. So would you then use a Ford F-150, put your running gear underneath? It's an option. Maybe Tesla, though, will be first with their truck. Maybe Rivian will be first with their truck on the market. Who knows? But it's going to be a segment that is going to be super, super popular. Right, finishing off with our question of the week this week. Keep your comments coming in on email, on YouTube as well. Should we be doing things online like YouTube stunts, record-breaking attempts, even racing electric cars like Formula E, when you can't guarantee that the electricity used for that is 100% renewable? And even if it is, what about all the people travelling to races to go and watch electric races in their fossil cars at the moment? Or does the publicity that those events, those YouTube channels, those stunts, the PR that it generates, is that worth it to spread the word? Let me know. You can email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com anytime you want to. Right, there are 230 patrons of the show. That's mad, isn't it? 230 people put their hand in their pocket every single month and help me out making this show. I still find it bonkers. But if you're interested in what this is all about, Patreon, patreon.com/EVNewsDaily for all the details. There are 522 previous episodes. I've been busy, right? 522 shows online, and you can get all the new ones first and free automatically if you hit subscribe in your podcast app. Come and say hi on the socials by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow. And remember, there is no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.